multiple versions, and then SCCM 2007, then SCCM 2012, then SCCM 1511, 16.2, 1606, 1610, and this is the current branch. 1702 is the current branch. Okay, the training duration would be around 35 hours. Certification, if you are planning to do the certification cost is $100 or 4,800 rupees in India. The paper number is 70-243, and the exam you need to score at least 700 out of 1000 to pass the exam. After taking the certification, you get Microsoft certified professionals from Microsoft. Okay, so we have site and site roles in SCCM. So there are three types of sites in SCCM, that is central administration site, primary site, and secondary site. So why we need a central administration site? Central administration site is needed when you have more than 100,000 devices all over the globe. Okay, when you are planning to manage more than 100,000 devices, then you need to have central administration site, because one primary site is capable of handling only up to 100,000 devices all over the globe. So the moment you have more than 100,000 devices, then you need to have more primary server, like you have 2 primary server or 3 primary site servers. And in order to manage those primary site servers, we need to have a central administration site which will be sitting on the top of the hierarchy. One central administration site is capable of handling how many? 400,000 devices. But 99% of the companies which are currently in the market, they are less than 100,000 devices. There are very few companies like TCS or IBM or Accenture or Wipro. They have more than 100,000 devices. But apart from these big organizations, we have every organization we have less than 100,000 devices, and there we are using primary site server. We don't have to have this central administration site, okay, because the capacity is low. So one primary site server is capable of handling 100,000 devices. Similarly, we have secondary site. Secondary site comes into the picture when you have a branch office. Let's say your head office is in Chennai and you have opened a new business in Delhi and Hyderabad. So in order to send the package over the internet, you need to have branch offices there. So Delhi has 2,000 devices, and Chennai has 2,000 devices, So in order to manage the computers at those locations, you can have secondary site at those locations. Central administration site need a database. Also, primary site server need a database, but secondary site does not need a database. It writes the information to the same database where primary site is writing. So primary and central need database, but secondary does not. Any confusion in sites, guys? Anyone? Okay, so Then we have site roles. Okay, these are the sites: central, primary, and secondary. Now we have site roles. That is management point. What is management point? Management point is a role which is like communication bridge between a site server and the client. Okay, so the management point is like the communication happens between the server and the client using management point. If management point is down, the communication will not happen. The client will not be able to talk to the server. Let me MS Paint. So you have this SCCM server and the devices. Let's say you have Windows 7 device, Windows 10 device, server. You know, these are the devices. To manage these devices, what SCCM does is SCCM sends its agent to these devices. What SCCM does is SCCM sends its agent to all these devices. So let's say this is the agent present, SCCM agent present in all these boxes. So the circle inside the computer, inside the square box, is the agent, SCCM agent. And this one is SCCM server. And these are the boxes, computers. Okay, these are the devices. Devices with SCCM agent. Now, in order to manage these devices, what SCCM does is SCCM has this management point. Okay, we call it SCCM management point. This is one of the role. Okay, management point. All these devices get connected to this management point. All of them. Okay. So SCCM management point is the communication bridge between the site server and the site and the client computer. All are connecting to SCCM server using the management point. Okay. If this is down, for example, this is not working. Okay. Then the communication will not happen between the server and the agent. You know, the agent and the server will not be able to talk to each other. So that is the reason we have management point that helps the communication between the server and the agent. Then you have distribution point. What is distribution point? Let me So distribution point is like Let's say these devices are there in Mumbai, okay? And SCCM server is there in London. Server needs to send some policy like Google Chrome application to Mumbai computers. So what SCCM does is SCCM sends the data to the distribution point which is located in Mumbai. So this is SCCM DP, SCCM distribution point. It's like a warehouse or a godown where SCCM server will put the data here, and any computer in Mumbai wants to get the data, they will get it from Mumbai distribution point. They will not go to the server directly, they will get it from here, like Google Chrome application or Firefox or Internet Explorer or software patches, operating system, anything they need, they can get it from distribution point. So similarly, if you have Hyderabad computers, so SCCM will send let's say you have one more site here, that is Hyderabad, and in Hyderabad you have like 5,000 computers, okay? These are the computers in Hyderabad. Okay, now in order to send the application to Hyderabad, what SCCM server does is it sends the file to SCCM DP, which is present at Hyderabad distribution point. Similarly, any Hyderabad computer needs anything, they can SCCM will put it in Hyderabad DP, and the computers in Hyderabad will get it from here. They will not go out to the server directly, they will get it from here. Okay, I hope you understood it. Any confusion? Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
I have a question. Sir, can you please explain in depth about what is destination point? What exactly happens at destination point? Sorry,
Distribution point.
distribution point. I'm sorry.
No problem. Distribution point, as I told you, like it is like a godown or a warehouse. For example, you need to take something from um, from a store, right? So you don't need to go to to the head office of the store. Like you don't need to go to Walmart or a big mart. Rather, you can get it from 7-Eleven, this small store, right? The branch store. So like files will be there, application files, software files, operating system files will be available. So any computer needs anything, they can get it locally rather than traveling to London. They can get it from Hyderabad. So all Hyderabad computer will get it from Hyderabad distribution point. Similarly, all Mumbai computer will get it from Mumbai distribution point.
So these files are given on request from Hyderabad, like the required place, or once the Hyderabad team or the Mumbai team puts a request in the distribution point, then the London server would be sending the files, or the files would be inbuilt. So
No, not inbuilt. this will on demand. This will be on demand. So for example, you have a requirement to install Google Chrome to all the computers in Mumbai and Hyderabad. Okay, so what will you do? So you will create the application and send the application to Mumbai distribution point and Hyderabad distribution point. The moment it reaches to this location, computer will start taking it from here. Mumbai computers will start taking it from here. Okay,
Yes, sir.
understood?
Yes.
Okay, so that was distribution point. Then we have software update point. What is software update point? So let me create a diagram for that. SUP, software update point. This is this is software update point, which helps you your devices to get latest patches from Microsoft, so that your computers are not vulnerable from virus attacks. So how it works actually, it is like this is your SCCM server. This is WSUS, Windows Server Update Services, WSUS. And this is Internet Microsoft Update Server. This is Microsoft Update Server, which is there on internet. Now what happens? Microsoft releases patches on every second Tuesday of the month. Every second Tuesday of every month. They release patches like critical patch, important patch, general update. Security patches. So Microsoft releases these kind of patches for its product, for let's say for Win 7, Win 10. These are the product of Microsoft, right? Win 8 server, Office, .NET, Exchange, AD. So for all etc, for all its operating system and all the product, Microsoft releases patches so that your computers are not vulnerable. Those are free from vulnerability, and it is not uh, prone to be attacked from virus. Now, the latest incident, what happened? The Petya and WannaCry, which created a mess in Ukraine and in mostly in Europe countries. So there were patches released by Microsoft. If you already have those patches installed, then that kind of incident, WannaCry or Petya, the recent attack which happened globally, that will be that will not happen. The computer will be protected. So that is the reason you need to apply the patches as and when Microsoft releases, and the critical patches, most importantly, you need to download them and install it on all the computers so that your computers are free from attack. So how it works actually, you have your SCCM server here, and in between you have a platform that is WSUS, which helps you to connect to the Microsoft Update Server. Then from Microsoft Update Server, you get the catalog for Windows 7, Windows 10, for the product. These are the product of Microsoft. You get the catalog for these things, and then you download and install to the server. Once the catalog is available, and for example, you have these devices, you know, these are the devices of Windows 7. You install the patches on these boxes from SCCM. Okay, so that is how it works. You have your SCCM server here. WSUS is the platform which helps you to connect with Microsoft Update Server on the internet. Then you download all the patches, the critical, important, general update, security update for your product, and deploy it to the computers. Okay. Then you have fallback status point. Like I said, the communication between the server and the computer, for example, this one is broken. It is not connecting. Then you have an alternate method, okay, to connect to the server, that is called fallback status point. This one is called so this is an alternate method to connect to the server. If this is down, this one is not working, you have this another bridge, communication bridge, which helps the client to reach to the server. Then you have configuration manager site database server, the server where you are hosting your database, because SCCM needs a database, right? SCCM server, and for example, this is your database server, DB server. So SCCM DB server is called site database server. We call this site DB server. SMS provider. What is SMS provider? SMS provider, let me rub it off. Let's say you have SCCM server here, and you have a database box here. Database, this one is database server. Okay, this one is SCCM server, and this one is database server. SCCM keeps all the information in its database. Whatever it receives, it sends out to the database. But it does not sends out. It does not send directly. It sends to an agent, and the agent is called SMS provider. And this agent SMS provider will send the data back to the database server. So whatever SCCM wants to write anything in the database, it actually sends to the SMS provider, you know, and SMS provider will send it to the database. That is how the communication happens between SCCM server and database server. Anything SCCM wants to write anything in database, SCCM does like that. Okay, this act as an agent, the SMS provider one. Now, application catalog and application catalog website, web service point and website point. These are the two roles in SCCM that actually helps. Let me create one more diagram. These two roles application catalog website point and application catalog web service point. These are the two roles which helps you to create your internal app store. So internal app store, for example, you have your like Google Play Store and Apple App Store. You can create your internal app store for the company so that any users wants anything, they can go to this app store, internal app store. Okay, you will have all user can go to this link. This is a website and get, for example, these are the applications like we have in Google Play Store or Apple App Store. We have the list of applications there and you can install it, right? So similarly, we need to have these two roles installed on the server so that the devices, these are the list of applications. Okay, like this one is uh, Google Chrome. Okay, this one is Firefox. Okay, this one is Internet Explorer. This one is Mozilla. Okay, this one is Putty. So any user needs anything, you know, for example, this user, these are the users need Putty. So they will go to internal app store, okay, and from there they can get Putty. So these are the computers. These computers will get Putty from the internal app store. Then you have asset intelligence synchronization point. What exactly it does is, let's say you have thousands and thousands of applications. So for example, you have these devices, okay? Every device will have like minimum 10 applications, right? Okay, these are the devices, and in these devices you have list of applications installed. So let's say you have like you have Google Chrome, you have Firefox, you have Putty, you have Internet Explorer, GoToMeeting, you know, MS Paint. So these are the list of applications installed in all these boxes. Okay, so what you do, you need to categorize these applications. Which application belongs to which family? So let's say you have out of this, you have first is Google Chrome. Okay, for example, Firefox, and then you have IE. So these three will be a part of a family, and the family name can be like this: browser. So for the categorization purpose, we need to have this asset intelligence in place. Then you have endpoint protection. Endpoint protection is like antivirus. For example, this one, semantic. You have semantic endpoint protection to keep your computers up to date, safe and secure, free from virus. Similarly, Microsoft also has endpoint protection. So this is one of the roles you need to install to make your computer secure. Then you have reporting services point. Reporting services point is one of the roles which helps you to get the reports from the database. Using this, you you connect to the database and then get the reports. Like your new, you have your database here. Database, which has all the data installed on it. What you do, you install a reporting services point role on here. Reporting services point role is installed on this data box. Now to get the data in your desired format, what you can do, you can have this in like CSV format or Excel or PDF, Word, okay, or PowerPoint. So reporting services point helps you to get the report from the database in those format, and you can show it to your manager. Then you have service connection point. This is Intune, Microsoft Intune. Okay. Um, these days everything is going on cloud. Okay. So to manage your mobile devices, for example, this is your SCCM server. Okay. SCCM server. And the devices, these are mobile devices. Let's say this one is Android, this one is iPhone, this one is Windows phone. Okay. Android, iPhone, Windows, Windows phone. Okay. To manage these types of devices, we need to have something called Microsoft Intune. Give me a minute, please. Somebody is at my door. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. So in order to manage these devices, mobile devices, we need to have Intune, Microsoft Intune role. Intune role. So, and that will help us to manage iOS, Android, and iPhone and Windows phone. Okay. So we need to install that role. We call it service connection point. Then we have a state migration point. What is a state migration point is that is one of the roles. For example, if you are migrating user from Windows 7 to Windows 10, Windows 7 to Windows 10, you are migrating user from one operating system to another operating system. In between, you can have this state migration point, which helps you to keep the data before migration. It saves the user's information, and then same thing it applies in Windows 10, so that when user goes from Windows 7 to Windows 10, he does not lose any files. He has the same files and folders what he had in Windows 7. Okay. Any confusion, guys, with this site and site roles? Anyone? Okay. So as we discussed this yesterday, for example, if you have a company which has 50,000 devices in one building in Hyderabad, you don't need a central administration side. You can have you will have one primary site server, and that will be sufficient enough to handle all the computers in that location. Now, in case your organization is getting bigger and you opened two branches in Delhi and Mumbai, so in order to manage the devices in Delhi and Mumbai, you will put secondary site on those locations. Okay, so that the computers which are there in those locations will be managed by the secondary site, and secondary site will report to the primary site. Now the last picture, this is for the very big organization. Let's say if you have a more than 100,000 devices all over the globe. So 100,000 devices, let's say in America's region, 100,000 devices in EMEA region, and 100,000 devices in APAC region. So in order to manage all the devices in APAC, you put a primary site server somewhere in APAC, in Shanghai, for example. Okay. Yeah. Similarly, in order to manage all the computers in EMEA, Europe, you will put a second primary site in London, and to manage all the computers in America's region, you will put a primary site in Americas, and then you have branch offices, and these are the secondary site. And to manage all the primary site, you have a central administration site. So this comes into the picture when you have a very big organization. Okay. Otherwise, we don't need a central administration site. Like this one. This is one of the uh, diagram for central, primary, and secondary. Now, the prerequisite of SCCM server is you need to have at least 2 gigabyte of RAM, minimum 50 gigabyte of free space, and the processor AMD Opteron or AMD Athlon, Xeon, Intel. So this kind of processor you need, and SQL server has to be there. And these are the rules. Prerequisite of SCCM server. When you are installing your SCCM box, you need to have these roles installed, and then SCCM can be installed on top of it. As we discussed this yesterday, these are the basic functionalities of SCCM, like asset intelligence, deployment, compliance setting, compliance management, and security. So SCCM is capable of performing all these functions automatically.
Hello. Hey, hi guys. Kasif went offline.